All right. Man that doesn't need no introductions, that could survive anything. Some call him Superman. My buddy, my friend, Sebastian. Come on out, bro. Welcome. What's
Welcome,
good,
bro.
man? What's going on, my
boy?
boy?
What's going on?
What's going on, man? How
Not
you
much.
doing? Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
How you feeling? Nervous?
A little nervous, but excited.
Yeah.
Nah, don't be nervous, man. It's all good.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you guys make my first time, comfortable.
Yeah.
Nah, the first podcast I think was a little bit more nerve wracking. We're on the second one now, so we didn't get canceled. We're still here. I still got my Instagram account.
Yeah, we're good. All right. Yeah, man. Nah, of course, man. I was like, who else but to bring, the mate? I've known this guy for like 10 plus years, and I was just like, why not?
It's been a long time.
A long time.
Sebastian.
You know what I mean? So, what do you think about like Yugen and how I kind of told you about it? And
Well, I'm still wrapping like my head around it and stuff, and like the whole like definition of it and stuff like that, and I feel like it could be perceived like different types of ways and stuff like that.
Okay.
Like I know you said it's I don't want to.
I know.
I know you said what you said.
Yeah.
But I relate to it as like possibly like like you said an emotion that cannot be described or something like that. Or
I feel like we're gonna have that shit somewhere like.
I think so.
The definition of what Yugen means.
I don't want to get canceled for it.
Oh nah.
Well, my interpretation is almost like there's another word for it, which I'm not gonna say it, but like almost like when you. An emotion you can't explain. You hear a song that you really like, or you just feel like pumped, or your like hair stand up, or something like that. That's what I'm taking it in as.
Yeah. What's something that makes you feel that way? Basically, that brings you to that level.
Just honestly, every time I look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this guy's confident. This is a confident guy right here, man. I love that. I love that.
I mean, that's awesome to wake up that way. And just like boom.
No, I wish. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Something that gives me that feeling. I music, a really good song, something that you can feel the emotion behind it. Sometimes just doing something that maybe like I really enjoy, or like some type of hobby or something that you just makes you sit back and you're like, wow, like this is nice.
That's cool.
Like,
I think we're gonna use that speech right there as like the introduction to Yugen.
That's gonna be the speech, so it's not confusing.
That was
right.
Man.
Insert clip.
That's a theme.
Yeah.
But man. So tell us a little bit how you been.
I've been good, man.
Yeah.
I've just been trying to keep busy, just trying to, every day that I'm still around and alive and stuff, I'm very, very grateful and just fortunate to just still be kicking it, you know?
Yeah, definitely, bro.
I mean, I guess people don't really know, like, what do you mean by staying alive?
We go through a breakdown. So I happen to be an amputee. I wasn't always an amputee. I had an accident about almost 7 years ago that caused me, that rocked my whole world, made my whole world turn upside down. It changed me, forever.
It was a kiss on the forehead.
Yeah.
Do it again.
It was the kiss in the forehead. Yeah, it was a crazy accident. It led to.
I can't stop thinking about Ronald kissing your forehead.
That's what happens. That's when you're around a real one and stuff. And like I said, he wasn't lying. True friend, been around a while. He was around. When the accident happened, and when I was actually in like a self-induced coma, he told me like a little while later, like, I kissed your forehead. And I was like, what? Kiss my forehead? No, it was a sweet gesture. We have like over the years this brotherly relationship and stuff. So it was bittersweet. It was awesome. And, when I think about it now, I was like, I'm in a self-induced coma. I got another man kissing my forehead.
I'm gonna take advantage of it.
Nah. You guys are taking it.
Canceled.
Oh my god, I'm getting canceled on my own show.
It's not like I couldn't wake up. Man. You're like, what are you doing?
No.
Hey,
man.
We see what you're into.
Hey, nah. Yeah, kiss guys when they're asleep. Sleeping Beauty, bro. Brought him back to life.
Yeah. It was like the princess kissing the toad.
That's it, bro.
Oh,
Brought you back
man.
to life, man. Staying
All right.
alive, baby.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. So just to give the viewers a little bit of in depth of what happened to you, what exactly, if you describe,
without going into
too much detail, but just like,
too much details. I was out riding my motorcycle. I was heading straight. I was just riding, and then next thing you know, a car came in, executed a left, and literally struck the whole side of my body.
Yeah.
So the front of that car hit myself and the motorcycle, just almost like in a T-bone type of way.
That shit must have been crazy, man.
Yeah, and it was crazy. From that point on, from what I remember, I went.
Must have been like a flash, like instant.
Everything happened so fast, and you always like look back, like wow, like wish I could have. What could I have done? What could I have done? But in an instant like that, when something just happens so fast, there's really nothing you can do.
Man, I've ridden for a couple, like a few years out of my life, and there's nothing you could really do to avoid anything. Where there's been moments where I'm like braking, and it's just like the back tire is it's either gliding or it's like bouncing up and down because it can't grip. You're going too fast, and your decision making is like you just tense up. You lock up. What you're thinking about is like you don't want to flip, you don't want to endo it and go forward. So you're avoiding from like locking up that front brake. You're either downshifting like crazy and stepping on that back brake to like somehow stop, but it's just a matter of seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's the dynamics from like you were just saying, from a motorcycle to a car. Car, you protected, you have airbags, you're in this theoretically like a metal cage. You slam on the brakes of a car. Your car also might come with ABS, airbags. And
the seatbelt.
Seatbelt, anti-lock braking system. So even if you slam on that brake as hard as you can,
the frame of the car is protecting you too.
Exactly.
It's just like all that protection.
You don't have to worry about, like you said, the car flipping, or potentially getting into something worse. From what I recall, it was just literally so fast that I just remember seeing the car and waking up on the floor, that type of situation. And at the end of the day, I'm very grateful and I'm happy to be here. I'm here with you guys on this lovely podcast.
Yeah, that's the most important part, that we're all chilling. Now and you can talk about it, and give some other people type of inspiration of like what you're going through and where you're at, trying to achieve better. A better lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that speaks words to you. You know what I mean? Because I think something like that is traumatic, obviously. So I think giving people insight as to how you were able to just kind of go forward after that is, I think, something you could obviously have more say than I would. Okay. You know what I mean? So how would you kind of tell someone that would go through like an experience like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, going through something like that, guys, it's like it's very traumatic, and you go through like phases and stuff. And I'm not mental health plays a big role of coming out of something like that. And I'm not no professional, disclaimer. I don't think any of us are. But mental health is real, and it could come in the form of something like that, or come in the form of something else. And if anybody needs help out there, definitely there's resources that you guys could.
We'll put your number at the bottom of the call that number.
Don't call me. But it's tough, because you go through, like I was saying, those phases. So initially, the first phase with me is like as soon as I found out that I lost a limb. It was sad. It's almost, you go through like a mourning process because, and it is true. Like you're missing, almost like you miss like a loved one or someone that passed away. Like, man, you miss a part of your body. You're like, I want to get up today. Oh, I can't. Because my leg's not there. And then you go through this, like, you go through this whole cycle, why me? You start questioning all different types of things in the world. And you just keep saying, why me? What did I do to deserve this? What did I do to deserve this? But in the end, I think just, I was strong-willed, and I had this motivation and this drive to just keep going no matter what. And, this happened to me, like today I sit here, I'm 26. This happened back like a couple days after my 20th birthday. You remember this? So it was insane. So, 20 years old, going through a traumatic near-death experience, there's really like, you really gotta make you gotta switch something in your head, and it's like, it's either I'm gonna freaking tuck my head under this pillow and I'm gonna cry and I'm just gonna give up on life and you know, because that's unfortunately that's a route that a lot of people, you know, go through. Or you take it and you just freaking, you know, you nip it in the butt and you say, listen, yes, it's unfortunate what happened to me. It hurts, you know, painful. I mean, experience pain, you know, physical pain like I've never experienced before. You know, we're talking broken bones. You know, I fractured my whole left leg. So, you know, from everything from under the knee to above the knee for people that might not understand, you know, human anatomy.
Yeah. Oh, we got my classmates in there listening, hopefully. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
so it was painful, you know, so breaking, you know, the tibia, the fibula, the femur, you know, fracturing the scapula, compression fractures of my spine and some stuff in the neck and it's just stuff that, you know, still lingers.
Wait, that was just that from that one accident?
Just that one accident.
Oh,
so
damn,
literally that one accident, I remember after when I'm gonna jump ahead. So when I passed out, got awoken on the floor, my body I couldn't move anything, right? So I thought like everything was gone, and I felt this crazy burning sensation. My legs were like shot. So one leg, you know, decided to leave the chat, you know, right after impact, and the other one was, you know, had to be saved, and it was you know, hanging for dear life.
Right.
And with that leg, that was the left leg, you know, so many surgeries and trying to get it to heal and do so much stuff. But yeah, that was all that from that surgery. Freaking shoulder, leg, almost lost an eye. You know, this eye right here, I don't know if you guys can see it, but if I do a little squint, I have a scar here. And it's crazy. They said half a sheet of paper to losing vision in my left eye.
What?
Yeah, because I got cut right under where like there's like I guess an important optic vein or something like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, man. So it was a lot. And then on to top that off, you know, I had to deal with suffering you know, an amputation.
Yeah.
So, you know, it definitely wasn't easy, but
that's a lot of emotional.
Yeah, it's a lot of emotional, and you know, you just gotta find that willpower, you know, and just be positive, man. Like my positive mindset. Like when this happened to me, I started, you know, I couldn't really move. The only thing I could really work was my right hand and my right arm, because that was the only thing that kind of didn't break. So that's kind of like weird, is that I couldn't. When I was in the hospital, I was supposed to like go to like an inpatient like rehab. And where I would have been in rehab probably for months. Like I could have been at like a rehab center for like a year.
Yeah.
But the only problem is I was so banged up that they wouldn't accept me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
so
insane.
So there's this thing actually, like at the time, I don't know if times are a little different, but they said for me to be accepted into one of those programs where basically they would care for me, they would do things for me, and I would be able to do my rehab there, I needed to have either 2 working legs or 2 working arms.
What?
Like, yeah.
That's interesting to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you know what type of facility it was? Like, was it like subacute? Was it like a neuro rehab? Do you know? Or was it outpatient?
Yeah, it was like a out. So I guess what we call it, inpatient or outpatient. It was therapy at another facility, but I would sleep there, like in-house.
So like a subacute. Like a subacute, I guess.
We'll go with that.
Everybody. Yeah, so a subacute.
A subacute, you know,
hey, man,
one of those centers. And the reason why they wouldn't take me, and there was a specific reason, was because I couldn't transfer myself. So I couldn't use, in order for me to go into the program that I wanted to go into, and most of them that they were trying to get me into, you needed to have 2 legs or 2 arms. So at least you could transfer yourself from like the bed to the wheelchair to the whatever.
That's so interesting to me, because I would think, I mean, at least for us as physical therapists, like we help patients transfer if they need it. You know what I mean? Even if it's inpatient, outpatient, wherever you are, if they need help, they need help. Yeah. So I'm just curious. I don't know if anyone or one of my classmates are watching. Like, they could put in the comments like why like they wouldn't accept.
Maybe that was like insurance.
I don't know. That's strange.
It could be, but that's what I was told, that since I was unable to transfer myself. Yeah. And I mean, in a way, it kind of makes sense. But it was kind of hard.
Pick you up. They probably
don't want to pick you up, and for like reasons, let's say I got to go use the restroom or something. Like I couldn't even use. You know, I would need help to go to the restroom. I would need someone to in the beginning, it was some of the most awkwardest days. Having someone come and help you use the restroom. Like, it's not even you get up and go to the bathroom. It's like, no, roll you over. They like push you. They're like, roll over, put a pan under you, and then they have to come back, clean up after the mess too.
Yeah.
And that's just.
You were nervous?
I was nervous.
The nurses made you nervous?
I felt nervous. I felt like dehumanized.
No,
I felt
for
violated.
sure. No, for sure.
So many things, but
Wait, you said you felt violated?
Yeah. I felt violated. Actually, on that topic, there was a time where I got transferred from the ICU unit, to like regular, we would call it like, I don't know, regular care.
Yeah.
And I got this nurse. And I had to use the bathroom.
Yo, my bad, brother. I'm laughing. Shit's going deep right now.
I know. That one nurse, guys. That one
nurse. Which was terrible. So I don't know if she didn't read my chart or what's the dealio, but I'm stuck to this bed. I can't move. I only got one good working arm, arm and a hand, and I lost a lot of weight, a lot of muscle mass. Almost sound like something else there.
Yeah, that's all good.
And I was beyond weak and just so frail, and I needed to use the bathroom.
Yeah. And
mind you, I was in the ICU unit. When I had to use the bathroom, I pushed a little button. They come roll me over and they put the bedpan for me. This nurse goes, I was like, hey, I need to use the bathroom. She goes, oh, okay, here's your bedpan. You got it, right?
Oh, shit.
And I didn't have it in me to be like, no. Wow. So I literally laid there and I cried.
Oh my
because
God,
I had to use the bathroom, but I couldn't because I was incapable of doing it myself.
That's like there's no way out of that.
Yeah.
Like you feel like you're at a dead end completely.
Yeah, and
that's crazy.
And it's a topic, part of it, was part of it I would say is her fault. Part of it also you could say it could be my fault because I felt awkward because I felt like she didn't want to do it. A lot of people in those fields, they're like, leave that for the CNAs or whatever, like let them deal with that stuff. Like I'm not touching that. But I just felt like ashamed to be like, hey, I need help to, can you, and then plus it's not only that, then they gotta like, wipe you, clean you. And I was like, this lady's gonna like leave me with a dirty ass.
Not bad. There's worse things in life.
There's worse things in life.
Little crust, man. Little crusty man down there.
Yeah, but I mean, you just, I look back, but yeah, I had like a full tantrum. Like, and then I remember, like, ironically, if some of my family members came and I had a full tantrum, and, long story short, they spoke, I was being, I don't want to say I was being a Karen or a Kevin, but I was just so, I was defeated. Long story short, I ended up getting a different nurse that day.
Oh, that same day?
That same day, I got actually transferred. She wasn't my nurse anymore.
Yeah. How long was the process of you actually like being in that situation of not being able to move, just having one hand? How long were you in that stage? That
process, I would say, was close to, probably around 2 to 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 to 3 weeks marks. I got switched from the ICU into like, we're gonna call it regular care, and then we went through the whole aspect as I explained a little earlier that I couldn't go to like a one of those in-house rehabs.
Yeah. So not to get too far off, but I want to stick on that where I'm the type of person where I'm like, I can't sit still I get very impatient. Yeah. I have to move around. I have to walk around. How are you in that type of situation of not being able to move for 3 weeks? How did that feel?
To be honest, I mean, like those first 3 weeks, I mean, you're in so much pain, and I was getting, I was getting drugged up. Yeah. I was getting drugged. I was getting drugged up. I was getting high. Like,
I remember I would visit you and you just be chilling there, like,
yeah,
blanket, everything loose, just chilling.
We'll talk about that. But yeah, it was. I just, it was so much pain, and I just, it was also too like going through stuff. Like once I went in there, it was emergency surgery. 5 days later, surgery again.
Oh wow.
And then after that, it was just kind of just still healing. Like so the whole time I was there, I was feeling real crappy. I had a little button that would give me morphine every 15 minutes.
At where you were, where were you staying at this part?
I was at this part. I was still at the hospital.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I had a little button, and I would press it every 15 minutes. I would try to press it sooner than that because it was so painful. And that would give me morphine. They'll come give me like a bunch of stuff that is not good for you. But at the time, it helped.
Like about
yeah, that's totally fine.
Okay.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. No, like most of a lot of the stuff, I'm very open and stuff, and I just think it's educational, and then like you guys said, maybe someone could hear this and stuff and be like, wow, I'm going through something similar, or maybe something different, like and try to learn from it and push forward.
What's one thing that you would like, let's say from that point of being in that situation from the start, that you would do different? Maybe, I don't know what it is, maybe not, you'll how would you say it? Like you'll enter like a zone of like, I should have done it different this way, maybe like I should have, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
what do you have? Are you saying like, what do you have done things differently from the point of things happened?
I mean, not necessarily of when he crashed, but more of like the process of when you entered stage 1 of like recuperating, surgery stage, all that. Like, is there anything that could have helped you? Reached out to somebody, like obviously for help. You know, I'm not talking about like just randomness. I'm talking about like people that you should have reached out. Like, I should have done this, or maybe back. But this was a while ago too. It was like it wasn't a few years ago. This was a way,
Yeah, this was like almost 7 years ago.
Yeah. So I think the world's changed since then. Not that much, but I think there's more resources now than there was that time, maybe.
Absolutely.
Right. So I'm saying like resources maybe that we had during that time that you could have reached out to, maybe that now that somebody in this situation that's going through this, whoever's watching it could hit up those contacts. No,
absolutely. Let me see. As far as like, this is life, right? As far as like the stuff that, that happened there, like I tell you, I spent a lot of time dwelling, why me, why me? And during those times, even, that was after the hospital, but the whole concept is why me, what can I have done different and stuff like that. At the end of the, at the end of the day, I'm still here. So whatever, happened, it happened for a reason, and I'm here. And my mentality at the hospital was like just trying to fight this thing, like literally, like I got into this like warrior zen, like kind of just like, I'm gonna try to fight this thing. You have people telling you, like at the time, like my ex's father would come visit me, and he'll be like, oh, my friend said it might be months before you're able to walk, or you might be able to do this. And I mean, even doctors would like, I'll ask them like, am I able to walk? Would I be able to run? Would I be able to do these things? And their clinical answers is just it's clinical. They don't want to get someone's hopes up too high, because they honestly don't know. Which is kind of messed up sometimes, because you hear stuff like, yeah, you might not be able to do that, or you might not be able to do this, or you'll probably never be able to do that again, and stuff like that, which I think those parts are bad, and I received some of that. I think we should have some more positive.
No, you should definitely have positivity in the medical field. I mean, I think for us as PTs, and I think or anybody in the medical field, saying that you can't do something is a little bit, I guess, narrow-minded. You know what I mean? Because absolutely. I think for you especially, you've always been driven and always wanted to do better, whatever it was, whatever you got into. And so I think, like you're saying, like we should have more positivity when you're talking to patients, because something traumatic like that, you can't just, put them down. You're not going to give them hope for anything. No, you know what I mean? And from what I've seen and what I've seen Sebastian do since then is amazing. You know what I mean? To think that something like that happened to him, and, I've gone hiking with him, you know what I mean? Or, he rides a bike, you know what I mean? So I think there's a lot that you could do even after you become an amputee, and you see things in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? So that's like a resource that I wish was there. Maybe like, it's almost like schooling. Like kids go to school now and they're always revamping their education system, and
that's so interesting. I see where you're getting at.
Yeah,
that's a very good point.
It's very old. It's very like kind of like old school. But you hear a lot of people say like when they go through traumatic accidents or something happened to them, or that they probably will never be able to do this again. And then even going to schools, you hear teachers telling kids that they're never going to amount to anything. I think that's come to, probably a little bit of a downhill stuff that might not happen too often. I'm sure there's places that still happens to them,
for sure.
Which is, that's insane. but it's definitely, you know, with someone going through something like that, mentally you're just, you know, mentally you're just not there. I think there should be like little stepping stones or precautions, or they shouldn't just like put those caps on people, you know.
Yeah,
because
that's so true. It should be like some sort of like school where they bring people that are in this situation, like amputees, of you know, this is, you know, we're going to bring you back into, you know, having your mentality at this stage, because you know, you are this type of person, so we got to kind of like mold you back into you know, who you are and who you're going to become in the future.
Because I mean, kids spend a lot of their time with teachers. You know what I mean? That's like someone
you're getting trained to do certain things. Color with hands.
You're looking up to these people. You know what I mean? And if you don't find any positivity or motivation from the people that you're spending most of your day with, kids are in school most of the day. You know what I mean? And if they don't find that motivation to be better or whatever the case may be, or think that they could do something,
you're
in
like
life,
reborn again in that situation type of status. Like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So but it's like I said, it speaks words to the person you are, and I think I think I'm always curious, and I think people want to know, obviously, like how you grew up, and who was Sebastian like before, like everything happened, like when you were growing up, like where did you come from, and all that. I think that would be
pictures right here.
Well, no.
We'll take a trip down memory lane and stuff like that. Absolutely. You know. Let's see. I grew up in the South Bronx.
Yeah.
You know, right? I grew up in the South Bronx.
I've never been there, by the way.
It's a beautiful place. No, it's honestly, it's a very diverse place. It's an incredible place. It's not a place for everyone, and you know, unfortunately, like sometimes, like growing up in, you know, in certain areas and stuff, you know, you get a lot of people make the mistake of getting, you know, sucked in by their environment, and as a result end up a product of their environment, which if they're in an environment that's like known to be not good or negative or bad or whatever, you know, they kind of follow through that path and stuff. So I grew up in a tough neighborhood in the South Bronx.
Tough guy.
No, not at all. You know, from an early age, I knew, I felt that, like, I felt a disconnect, you know, like I didn't want to be hanging out outside.
Do you think everybody feels a disconnect, or some people like being in that type of environment? What do you think is your input in that?
That's a good question.
Yeah. I think maybe like I grew up like, that is a tough question. I mean, I think some people, like, if they have I don't know, if they have people they're influenced by, if they, you know, if they see certain types of things and they kind of that makes their mind like their gears turn, and they're like, oh, I like this, you know. Or like, you know, my uncle is doing some shady stuff. He's driving a brand new BMW, so
I want to do that.
I want to do that too, you know.
But I guess it goes back to being a byproduct of your environment, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all mentality, you know. Like I do think, like, in this society and stuff, like, and that's something I went through too. Like, I definitely think if you're born and you grow up in a certain area, you are at a certain disadvantage, you know, in a certain way, and to an extent, you know. But the truth is, like, you know, talking to all the youth out there and stuff, and it's easier said than done. But like, honestly, like, if you grow up somewhere, like, that's not where you have to stay, you know. Like you can, you know, put in the work. You can follow the straight path of going to school and making it out of it, making something out of yourself by, you know, furthering your education. I mean, you could even get into, you know, whatever, working at a car dealership, and next thing you know, just work at it and be a good salesman. I mean, you could go learn a trade. You could be a plumber. You could be, you know, try to be an electrician, whatever. Like, there's avenues that you can travel, and there's paths that you can take. And, you know, the option is just ultimately up to, you know.
It's not an easy one.
It's not an easy one.
That's a fact that it's not an easy one. But you have, I think, you know, it's hard to say this because it's such, like, you know, like a double-edged sword type of thing, you know, where, you know, it's easier to say than do.
It's easier said than do.
But yeah, I think if you fight for what you want, you'll eventually get there. Yes. Eventually, you know, if you don't see the light yet, keep shooting for it. Keep going for it.
He can speak to this because he's tried many things. And he
we'll get there.
We'll get there one day. You'll listen to that one.
But
But yeah, it's definitely it's doable, but it's hard.
It's definitely, like you said, it's the truth. You know, it's not. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it, and everyone would do it. And you know, that's the day that we live in and stuff. You know, it's just kind of like I'm on the more of the fence of like just making people like when I speak to the youth or something, just letting people know like, hey, anything is possible. Like when people tell you that you're younger, that you could literally be anything you want in life. To a certain extent, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, of course.
Most of it is true, but you have to.
I think that's one thing. You got to be real with yourself too. You got to look at the resources that are around you and the things that you could, accomplish with those resources around you. Right? You can't just.
And if you take advantage of them, of course,
it's everybody's. I feel like you got to get lucky sometimes too.
Yeah.
People that you meet, who you bump into, and you got to be a very open person. You got to change your whole character. You got to definitely like play that role of like, this is where I'm going and this is what I'm going to be. And you could possibly open up, whatever door you want to in life with that type of mentality. But, it just gets harder. You got to be real with yourself. If you want to definitely just, maintain and like have a good lifestyle, I think you could do anything you want. It's not going to be easy, but keep shooting for it. Yeah. But if there's things in life that people want to do that are like, look ludicrous in everybody's eyes, and it's like if it's your vision, you got to keep going for it and never stop. I think that's one thing that people got to keep going for.
I absolutely agree. And like what you said, resonates with me, and probably a lot of people. And the truth is, like you said, it's kind of got to be like an opportunist. If a great opportunity comes around you, it might. Take it, take it as a stepping stone. It might not be exactly what you're trying to do or where you want to be at that moment, but it's going to, propel you further.
Of course. Hell yeah. I've definitely experienced that in the past couple of years, just like maintaining, focusing on certain things. And it's like, it does pay off when you do like pay attention just a little bit more, just a few more hours every night. And just like, burn that candle a little bit every night, man. It just like somehow it seems like it never does anything, but eventually it just kind of like, holy shit, look where I'm at now. It's like it kind of like changes overnight kind of situation, you don't even see it coming.
And it's just taking things day by day. I think people are too engulfed in looking too ahead of what they want to achieve, and I think that's great, obviously having long-term goals and all that stuff and being ambitious, but I think taking things day by day will be beneficial for anybody, I think, you know what I mean? Because even if you want to succeed in life, I think the biggest thing that I think people forget to do is just being in the moment and realizing where you're at and where your deficiencies are, and then how can you improve on that to eventually be successful in life, you know what I mean? So, but
so you're walking in the Bronx? What happened next?
So that was it.
Yeah, he's walking in the Bronx.
Just so basically, just grew up, in the Bronx. I kind of felt like that's not where, I don't want to say where I belong, but I just felt like there's a little bit of disconnect.
How old were you in that era?
At that era, like when I started feeling like those type of emotions and stuff like that, I was around 14, 15.
Oh, okay. You're like a sponge at that age. Like, you can become anything you want. It's like that's where you focus on. Like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Definitely a age where you could definitely see where, you could tell where somebody's going.
Yeah.
At that age.
No, absolutely. And then from there, so I ended up leaving the Bronx around 16 years old. That's when I ended up moving, and ended up moving somewhere where. It's more like the suburbs, a little more, calmer. There's beaches.
Long Island.
There's beaches. There's,
Hampton Bays.
I live in the Hamptons.
Out east, you got country farm looking stuff and farmlands and stuff. And I mean, you're literally surrounded by water anywhere from the North Shore to the South Shore to, to out east.
Sounds like a beautiful place.
Yeah. Honestly, I recommend that. If anybody's, definitely it's not a bad place. I do have some gripes with the island, but it's let's just it's very very populated, a little overpopulated right now. But it's a great place.
It's a bad place, so you got to move out of here.
Every area, even back to to the Bronx, like every place has the bads and the goods. There's like some really fantastic places in the Bronx, and then there's some really bad ones, and that's like that everywhere. But like back to what we were saying. So I made that transition, and I've kind of been on the island ever since. And I was able, fortunate enough that I was able to do that move or get moved, so far. But it's just I felt like the environment change honestly did good for me.
It shifted you, like who you were.
Yeah, it definitely did. It did something to my mind, body, and soul. And it's almost you can relate that to like just like like having some type of toxic relationship or something, and you just exit that, and you're like, oh wow, like
opportunities.
What opportunities come around, And
what
that's,
you mean.
back to being an opportunist and all that stuff. Well, that's pretty much
It's good that you got out of that.
Oh my god! And that's when he met me, and he hated me in the beginning. To be honest, he didn't like me. But
listen, when I first started, hearing about this, Ronald and stuff, it was just, it was like kind of like just moved in. At the time, I had a girlfriend. Happy New Year!
Yeah.
Happy New Year. I think we're good.
I think the toxic relation's looking for one of
I'll just edit that out. All right, keep going.
All right, but it's kind of, where were we?
Ronald, you hated Ronald.
I didn't hate Ronald. It's just. My first impressions of Ronald, like when he came around, I was like,
I have to convince people to like Ronald.
Oh my god, here we go.
Yeah, this is my cousin.
Yeah, I'm not a likable person apparently. Even my teachers thought I was up to something.
He's very likable, and he's great. It's just the way I was introduced to him and stuff. I was just like, hold on, who is this guy? What's his true motive? And I'll touch base a little bit on it and stuff. So at the time,
you guys are gonna sleep together.
I mean, you already gave me a kiss when I was sleeping.
That was like way after though, not before.
Oh god.
So my relationship with Ronald has been interesting to say the least. Yeah. So my first encounter or finding out about Ronald was, I remember I was working. I had a girlfriend at the time. Yeah. And and Ronald had a crush. And the crush happened to be the girlfriend's type of sister at the time. And
not his girlfriend, the sister. Just to make that.
They were sisters.
Let's get that clarified there.
They were sisters, and it was just, when I first found out about him, I found out that, he was trying to get to the other sister, but he would, he would text my girlfriend. And initially I was like, what's going on? Why
exposed at
why is he texting my girl, So initially it's not a hate. It was more it's like, who's this fuck boy? And why is he hitting on my girl? Yeah. I mean, mind you, we were both 16. This is 10 years ago, So there's a lot of, childish insecurities. I mean, I was in high school.
I guess we could expose names at this time.
Nah.
Ronald's
no. He's like, no, we didn't do that.
We'll leave that out. But so that's basically, and then at the end, that's how our relationship actually ended up forming, is because he actually ended up, he was able to, get inside.
Of who?
Oh man! Not of him.
I meant get inside. The circle.
The circle of people.
Yeah. Which circle?
Oh man! Which circle?
It's talking more like an oval or something.
Jeez. This guy. I don't know what shapes he's looking at.
So basically. Back to the program.
Yeah.
So that was it. So there was not, we'll clear that up right now. There was no beef. There was no like I hated him or I really disliked this person. I disliked that he was texting my girlfriend and stuff like that. And
anybody would,
and I think anybody would and stuff like that. And I think I back then I even sent him a text like, "Hey, I understand." Whatever. What I'm being told is you texting my girl.
Did you text her?
I think I did.
Okay.
I think I sent you a text, and I think you said like, okay, like you understood. I said, look, I understand you texting my girl, trying to get to the to the sister and stuff like that. But I was like, you got to see where I'm coming from. Like, I'm not too comfortable with that. That seems a little, it seems a little weird for me, at the time and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, but as the universe has it, time went by, and and
just clicked.
Yeah, he was actually able to get the girl that he wanted, and then. It was like I got no choice. I gotta kind of like this guy now.
Oh my, yeah. Everybody just kind of likes me.
No, I got a lot of love for you, man. And it's not, that was just like the initial, like that was the reaction, and that's how we got together. And then from that experience and from what those paths that we were both on, we were able to build a really good relationship and like a brotherhood. I would say.
It became like a brotherhood. I would say for sure. I mean, we've been through it all together, to be honest, ups and downs,
and absolutely, and and stuff like that, and. But it's like like any brother, like brothers, you might have your times where you bicker, you might try to compete with each other or try to be competitive with each other and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's all
love.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's a beautiful story. I like it.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
And that was it.
And yeah. So, but I wanted to show. I'm gonna put the picture right here of. Not in here, but like it'll be pop up in the video. But the picture, bro. I wanted to show him the picture of I want to show you who is this guy compared to who's this guy now, and how he was doing things before and how he's doing things now. So show him this first picture. I'm gonna put it up on the screen, obviously, but show him who's that guy, right? What was his ambition? What was he going for? And then what is. Who's that guy now? You know what I mean?
That's quite a lot of hair I lost there.
Other than the hair.
Oh God.
Other than the hair. Yeah. Because I know both. I know both sides, and I've seen both sides. Other than the hair.
Yeah. Other than the hair and losing other stuff. But, yeah. I mean. We'll go through that that first photo. That was just someone still as of now. Life is a learning experience, and every day I feel like I'm learning and growing. And even almost 7 years later, I feel like just my rehab process is still is still something that is around, and every day I'm learning to do different things, and so. That's kind of about now, but back then, it was just a very, much still the same now, just a very driven, motivated, just, young man that was just striving to just do the best that, that he could and stuff, at that time, so I was, around that time I was faced with having to, I think maybe a little bit past there or whatever. I was like, as soon as I don't remember, I think, what age I was there, but since like 18 I've been like on the island, like on my own and stuff like that. So that was kind of that guy. And today it's like it's definitely it's weird to say, like but as O said earlier, that whole accident stuff is kind of like a rebirth. I found my it sounds weird to say I found my flow or but it's just a person who I kind of evolved into, and that person right there was just smiling, just happy to be outside and to just and that's how I am today, just happy to be here, happy to be around, happy to still be enjoying like in life, and haven't been X'd out of life, and I'm just trying to do my best right now, with what I can, and that's with everything,
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean, of course, that's definitely 100% like amazing, and that's one thing I wanted to. It makes me think about like who you were before and who you are kind of now. I always remember you as a kid that was like, very patient. You were very patient when I would see you. The way you would communicate was very like. Every time I saw you communicating to me or talking to me, it was like very like zen. It was always like Zen. And
You're saying he's not patient now?
no. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's like you're still that person, right? You're still a Zen person. You're still like that type of like your flow is very calm and like you calm situations down. I feel like every time like I'm talking to you, it's like a very like calm, ambient environment where it's just like it feels, like how can I say it? I'm looking for the right word to kind of describe it of like peaceful. Like it's a very peaceful like. Whenever I'm around you, it feels very peaceful when I'm talking to you. It's like very, even though like I might know you're going through a ton of shit, it's like every time I talk to you, you seem always like that mentality of yours is always like peace, right? You always pour that out no matter what. And I feel that that's that mentality that you have. I feel that that's what was able to push you forward after having to go through that stage in life of getting an amputee, of even the whole process of dealing with it, but that's amazing, your whole character is like pretty cool.
And then for me, I guess I could speak on his character a little more. It's just like I've seen it all, you know what I mean, between being at his happiest moment to his lowest moment, and we're in between. Like he's always been motivated, always driven, business savvy. Could look up a million things and somehow find it. You know what I mean? Like he could think of any business idea.
Guru.
Yeah, man. Like, and any business idea, marketing, anything he could think of that he could get his mind wrapped around, he'll do it. And he's always been like that ever since I met him. You know what I mean? He's always had that mentality, and I think that's amazing. I think for anybody, and to even experience this, even though you were mad about it, sad about it, all the emotions that you go through it. I think you were able to push through it. It was with our help, obviously, a little bit, but you by yourself really.
Yeah, without our help, you wouldn't have done shit.
No. When he was alone, like, no, I'm saying even when he was alone, he unlocked that other level of himself of like, this is where I want to be in life, and I don't want to be in the same position. You know what I mean? Not to he was saying that couldn't do without us, but I like I said, I think it's amazing, and I think I said it's pretty cool.
One question that I have for you is, and I don't know if you could talk about it or anything like that, or if it's like you could describe it if you did. Like I'm curious to know now because I don't know. Did you seek any help, like therapy, to help you out during those stages?
Yeah, definitely. Before I go into that, I just want to say that what you just told me and what you just told me was absolutely beautiful. Getting me all emotional here and stuff, got me blushing. I'm probably like pink like a tomato.
You look great, bro.
But I really appreciate those kind words and thank you.
Gotcha, man.
Now, back to what I was saying. Seeking help and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely. And using the resources that were available to me. I didn't really, the sad part for me was I didn't really have like the resource or like the help of like my own family, but I was able to make good friends and, that were there to help me and be supportive for me when I would need them. Also, therapy, go to therapy, multiple times a week. I made like relationships with my doctors. Like I called it like a team. Like I had my leg doctor. I had like a rehab vocational doctor or whatever, so I would go see him. I'll see my leg doctor, I'll see my other doctors, like therapy. Like I made like a little team, and I was very just driven, like like this is what I'm gonna do, like I'm gonna try to get better and stuff like that. And those were resources that I looked at that time. Mentally, this is something that was weighed on me heavily. So there was a time going through something like this, definitely a traumatic experience. It could introduce like post-traumatic stress disorder and stuff like that. So I started experiencing some PTSD stuff. I had trouble sleeping. Every time I would go to sleep, I would kind of feel like something was going to happen to me, or something was going to fall on me, or I kept seeing like visualizations of the accident and stuff kind of replay in my head. And
months afterwards?
Months afterwards.
Years afterwards?
Yeah, still to this day.
When did that happen? Like time frame? Like was it right instant, like after the accident you were experiencing that?
I would say like I wouldn't say it's like instant, because half the time I was like asleep. Drugged out asleep. I don't remember those dreams, But I definitely think it started soaking in once I was out of the hospital. started getting
okay.
home.
Yeah.
And then once I definitely, kicked the meds and started actually having to deal with, the pain without the medication and withdrawals and stuff like that. And, even after that, like even to today, like I have this thing where like, if I'm like, if I'm in a car with someone and they're driving, like I'll fall, like I'll fall, if I was to fall asleep, I'll wake up numerous amounts of time, like terrified.
Really?
Yeah. Cause I guess I feel the car, like the motion or whatever. I just wake up like, I'll spazzed out like crazy.
Yeah.
Actually, my girlfriend, she was driving. We were driving out to Georgia. I'm in the passenger seat. It's her turn to drive. I actually had one so bad that I actually woke up and reached for the steering wheel.
Oh wow.
And to yank the steering wheel, it would have been something that would have made us crash.
Yeah.
But luckily for me and luckily for her and for everyone, my seat was back. So when I woke up and I tried to grab that steering wheel, I would literally just grab the air because the steering wheel was so far back. But it's been something that, from dealing with the PTSD stuff to maybe hitting a little bit of like, being sad and, dealing with feeling, depressed and stuff like that. And then there came a time where I started having those type of symptoms. And then I started, I started getting irritable. So I started like, for example, like people would try to help me and I'll push them away. I started like, for other words, I started being like mean. Kind of like, Ronald could probably remember lots of times. Like I just started being mean to people that were close to me at the time.
Frustration.
Like, I would get frustrated. I would just get mean. I would like spaz out on people. And then after that, I would go through like, I'll get sad. And I'll be like, damn, why am I, like, I can't control this. Like, this is coming kind of like a problem. Like, I'm doing certain stuff to, people that care for me and look out for me, and I'm pushing them away. And then, so ultimately, I ended up going to get therapy. And, therapy, something for a lot of people think of therapy, like, as, like, such a negative. Like, there's plenty, like, if you guys search, man, there's actors that go to therapy. Like probably your favorite actor, your favorite artist or whatever, they go through therapy. And it's just, and it's a way to talk, And I'm not saying like, some people need therapy where they get like medication and stuff like that. That's a different type of talk and different type of stuff that I don't really want to get into because I try to, want to be natural. And but yeah, it came to a point where I started going through stuff that I just couldn't really comprehend and I couldn't understand and I couldn't control, and so I seek therapy out and stuff like that, and it was very helpful. It didn't.
You saw a breakthrough, basically.
Yeah, I saw like a breakthrough, and I just had it just helped talking to someone, hearing their professional insight, and they taught me certain ways to cope with stuff. You know what I mean? And also not only that, they spoke to me and they told me like, hey, listen. You're getting this way, you're being irritable and stuff like that. Okay, you got a lot of stuff going on, but just keep in mind that by you doing that, you are pushing people away. So you're pushing people away. And then I also had this issue that I didn't want to ask for help. Back to the bedpan story. With the nurse. I had this thing where I really didn't. That was a different story though. She didn't want to help me. But I had this thing where like it's and a lot of people could probably fall into that where they don't want to seek help, they don't want to accept help, they don't want to admit that they need help. But when you don't do that, you honestly ultimately you damage, you're only making it worse for yourself, and you're damaging yourself because you could use help and you could get it, as long as like you use it as like a stepping stone. Everyone needs some help. You don't want to be constantly taking handouts and getting help so much to the point where you're not doing anything for yourself. But if you need that help genuinely, like at that time, seek the help, get the help, and use it to just keep that energy to just keep you propelling forward and stuff. And that's what I did. I definitely did it. It's something that even to now I should I should probably look into, because it's something like it can only help.
So you're not going right now?
Yeah, right now, okay. I haven't been going in a while or anything like that, but it can help because we're human and we have our days. I got some really good days and I got some really bad days. But it's something. It's a tool and it's a resource that that is definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, we're all going through struggles differently.
Yeah.
So it's like people handle situations. I've known so many people. My situations are different from everybody else's. You know, we all have different stories. So it's just like it's definitely. What are you laughing about?
Hey man, it's what's your story, man? So it makes it unique, bro.
Yeah, it's everybody has a different story. So it's just like definitely. I think it's a good idea to reach out to therapies, and I've never been to one personally, but I'm open to check it out because it's hell yeah, I got demons that I got.
Jeez, I got demons.
Definitely something. What happened there?
The light. Our light just died on us, but it's all right. We keep going.
Yeah, we keep it going. We got our lovely voices to carry.
Yeah, no, but I think it's a good point to just say that there are resources, and I think there's people out there that can help you, even if you don't. Maybe if you don't bond with that one therapist, there are other therapists to try, and you just gotta find that right one, because I think mental health, like everyone knows, is a real thing, and it affects people in different ways, and you just don't know, and sometimes you don't even know you may have an issue. Even if I think everybody can use a little bit of therapy just to talk, just like this, just to talk it out.
This is therapeutic right here, but some people don't have this.
They
don't have people to talk to.
Bonding experience.
The bonding experience for sure.
No, absolutely, and like you said, it's an incredible thing, and everyone can use it. And if someone tells you they don't need some therapy or they couldn't benefit from talking to someone every once in a while, it's bull. And now they're they're trying to make it easier and stuff. There's services where you can text.
It's like well, you know what it is, man. I feel like that talking experience of having somebody in front of you is what changes. Seeing somebody's physical facial expressions makes a difference. It's like having a conversation through text and having a conversation through phone. To me, two different worlds, and it's like I hate talking through. If it's going to be in an important topic, I want to talk to you face to face.
Yeah.
If it's just bullshitting, whatever, daily routines, text messages. But when it's something where it's so important and that bonding of having that person listen to you or you listen to them, it's just it changes the game completely.
Yeah. No, I honestly agree 100%. It's kind of funny because I'm actually one of those type of people that some people find it weird, but even some people be like, hey, what's up? Send a text, hey, what's up? How you doing? I prefer to call because
100%.
I feel
hate emails.
One, I feel like it's more efficient, it's faster.
Yeah.
And not only that, you can hear people, you can hear their voice and stuff like that, and I feel like it's more of a connection.
I feel like people are always trying to get I got you, and that's why they want to have emails and texts and proof of I want to have that proof that you said that. And I feel like that's why people, exactly. And I usually like getting on a phone call and talking the situation out, describing what the situation is, or telling them what the deal. But a lot of people don't like that. They like getting everything on.
I know it's
proof.
Yeah. But before we go into the next segment, all right. So like I was saying, before we get into kind of the last segment of the story here, I want to have a recurring segment of on the show. So it's gonna be a 1-word interview. So you could ask some questions as well, but you can only say one word. So it's if I ask you I don't know, whatever the question may be, you just gotta say one word. Okay. Obviously, you could just say something after that, but
I talk a lot.
Nah,
no one can see this by now.
But you gotta say one word into the question I ask you, and I'm gonna ask you a few questions. You know what I mean? So it's just a recurring segment that I want to have. So we'll start off easy. You know what I mean? So how would you describe your morning?
Well, it was good. Good.
So every day your morning's just good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How would you describe your significant other?
Great.
Why?
That's awesome.
Lovely.
Okay. Yeah. All right. She's lovely.
Yeah.
Is she? Sometimes.
Most times.
Most times. All right. That's 2 words.
Frequently.
Frequently? How would you describe me?
I got so many.
Hey, listen, this is not easy.
Hey, it's all
There we
good.
go.
Hey, that's like 20 words or no? I'm not easy. Oh man, I'm terrible. I'm a terrible person, man.
Awesome.
I got
Awesome.
Yeah,
Oh.
well,
Wow. I'm gonna just walk out. I'm just getting roasted today.
that's not awesome.
I got a story to that one.
Oh my god, nah, I'm not gonna get into that right now. Oh,
next time.
Next time. Oh man. You got a question?
Do I got a question for him? Nah, I wasn't.
All right, I got a scenario for you.
Okay.
You're at a barbecue,
Okay.
right? You choose between a hot dog and a burger. Which one are you choosing?
We'll go with the burger.
Why?
Man.
What do you mean, man? A
One
man?
answer? One answer?
Word? Yeah, one word.
Dick.
Wait, what? Wait, what? You're choosing a burger because wait, what? Wait, what? I would assume that's the hot dog.
Thick?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, thick. Oh, I was like, he said thick, everybody.
Okay.
Thick.
All right.
Okay.
Oh man. All right. I'll give you another scenario. That's hilarious. I'm at a cliff. I'm on a cliff. So is Kiara.
Okay.
So
who Kiara, his girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
Who you saving?
Kiara.
Oh my god, I'm walking out of here.
Who's the other option?
Oh, I know you for 10 plus years. You're gonna say Kiara.
Who's the other option?
Me.
Man,
Oh,
do you know how hard it is to find a girl out there, man? It is not easy.
Oh,
All right.
man.
Dude.
It's not easy.
Dude, we're talking about, well, it's one where I'll shut up.
No. For everyone out there, it's not easy to find a girl.
It's not easy to find a good girl, and it's not easy to find someone that you could see your future with and continue on, with your generation and stuff, have kids with, or whatever the picture may be.
Okay.
I mean, I love you, mate, but like, I'm not gonna have kids.
Just wanted to see if just wanted to see how much you actually
I
like
mean,
me.
it depends on the day.
You looking,
On the
you looking
day.
for love, huh?
Tragic. Nah,
You need
I'm
somebody you
good.
like?
I'm good. Oh man. All right. All right.
It's all good.
Just
I
a
wouldn't have
few-
picked him either.
Oh man, just everyone hates me. All right, just a few more questions, and then I can't. Before I get roasted the whole night.
I feel you would have made the same choice, and at the
I don't
end
know.
of the day, that's a brotherly
I
decision.
don't know.
and
What if?
you know?
I don't know.
I feel like whoever was the one getting X'd out, they would understand. Like, I want you to be happy as they fall.
No, I know. I got you.
Question. If you had to pick a spaceship to travel to outer space, would you pick SpaceX or
Oh my god.
Blue? I forgot the other name.
Blue Moon?
No, not Blue Moon. Blue.
Feather.
The other guy, the bull-headed one.
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos.
I'm gonna be straight up honest. I'm not sure. I've never heard of the other one, so I'm going. I'll have to go with SpaceX. Because I've known they've done it successfully a few times, and
Blue Origin. That's what they're
Blue
called.
Origin.
Yeah, I believe. Mark my words. I'm guessing here, but I think it's Blue Origin.
They've been out longer than SpaceX.
No, I think SpaceX has been longer.
Similar.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We don't know.
I'm very technical. I have to see who has a better success rate of making it, and and that would ultimately.
I got one for you. Why are you?
Because
because of them. Yeah, one word.
Well, you didn't warn me. It's gonna be one
One
word.
word. It is still one word.
That's a hard one.
Why you? Why are you?
Me.
That's it, baby. Him. That's it. Why? I. Me. I. Exactly. A few more. Puerto Rico.
Nice.
Long Island.
Overpop.
It's one word, I guess. Congested. Bronx.
Diverse.
Okay. Yugen.
A big guy. Sigh.
Terrible.
Community.
Huh?
Community.
Community. I like that. Yeah, no, it's. Thank you. I appreciate it,
There
man.
you go.
But like I said, I think it's always unique to listen to people's stories.
Hell yeah, all the time, man. I think it's been a good podcast. I think we definitely nailed it with this one being the first, time that we have somebody on the set. Well, opening up with someone for the first time.
Mr. Invincible.
Absolutely, guys. I'm totally. Like I said, this is my first time, and you guys made my first time very comfortable.
First
I
time's always
appreciate
good.
it. First time's the best time. I really appreciate it, and definitely this was really cool.
I think the way we got to close this one is Ron has to give you a kiss on the forehead.
I gotta kiss him on the forehead. Oh man,
There's only one way.
There's only one way to end this.
Man.
Only one way to end this. Kiss. I'll give you a handshake this
All
time,
right.
man.
The
Only
kiss
the
on the
kisses
forehead
for
never
behind
go away.
That's the behind the scenes.
Yeah, behind the scenes.
But that's a good way to just say that's a story.
There
you
go.
We're
working on that one.
What's your story next?
That's it, baby. What's your story
There you
next? My
Take
guy.
care, everyone.
Good job, bro.
Deuces.
Deuces.
Later. Out.
Let's go.